Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tennessee Twos Disc Golf Podcast. My name is Daniel. Across from me is my co-host Ethan,
Hola.
and yeah, here we are. We did it. We made it another week. Uh, I don't really know what else to say beyond that at the moment. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I have not slept well in like 2 weeks, and your boy needs sleep. So with that in mind, I'm apologizing. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. We don't have quite as much to talk about this week. The Beaver State Fling we're going to cover, and then the Pro Tour match play we're going to cover. But
Yep.
we don't have much to talk about because we've had confirmed lists of players, and half these players are like, I might not play, I might play. So we don't even know what's going on with the match play until it probably officially kicks off. But
Right.
we'll talk about it a little bit and get over that. But before we go any farther, happy late birthday, man,
Appreciate it. Also seen
bro.
chat coming in with the happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you.
Yup.
Yeah, yesterday was my birthday and I took the day off. I took today off and I took tomorrow off as well just because
Just
it's really
because
hot.
you made it. Well,
and
you made it another full revolution
exactly.
around the sun,
Right.
and it is really hot. And I don't know. Did you see the forecast for next week in your neck of the woods?
I did not.
They're
I'm not
calling
even.
for. I'm going to tell you, and I'm sorry. They are calling for something like 103 to 107 between Tuesday, Wednesday, and or Thursday, at least at the Nashville airport, is
Yeah,
what I
that's
saw.
I mean, that's really close to
So
where I work, so yay me.
So good luck with that. Heat index had my neck of the woods over like 103 today, and yeah, it's hot,
Yeah,
guys.
it is.
And I'm not gonna lie, that is not helping the fact that I'm not sleeping well. There's a lot of factors that go into
Yeah.
it, but the fact that I'm sweating as I'm trying to fall asleep is not helping.
See, I'm
That's
always
just
naturally just cold all the time, so this is fine. I
I
just don't like being
wish,
outside doing it.
man. I wish,
Yeah,
bro.
there's good
So
things and bad things about everything.
yeah.
Um, Tony,
Well,
I
I've
am old enough to drink. By a few years now. I turned 28, believe it or not.
Don't let
Um,
him fool you. He's not a day over 21.
yeah, well, I would go back. I would.
Bro.
Because I feel like I really don't know that much more than when I did then. So I was like, I can't say that. Oh, I wish I knew what I knew now and go back to 21. Nope, not really learned a whole lot. Let's just go back.
Look, let's put it this way. I mean, I truly am. I am at a level of exhausted I haven't felt in a while, but given how much like sleep I've actually had in the last 2 weeks, if I was 21, I would at least feel decent today. Or even dandy if I was 21, but I'm
Danny,
not.
the dandy Danny.
The dandy Dan. I'm Dirty Dan. No, I'm Dirty Dan. Okay, anyways. Uh,
Oh man.
I don't know what it is, but like the entire last 2 weeks, every time I start humming a song, it's always the same song. You want to know what that song is?
What?
It's the Duloc song from Shrek.
What?
You know that song from Shrek when they go to Duloc, and it's the "Welcome to Duloc, such a
Oh yes,
perfect."
yeah, with all
It's
the little
that.
puppets.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh my god! And then they show their butts.
Yeah,
Yes, I do know
yeah.
that
I've
one.
been and you know the part where Donkey starts singing it as they're leaving,
Yeah.
and Shrek's like, "Stop singing!" And he's like, "Well, can I hum it?" And he's like, "Okay." So I've been doing that all week. Just it's so bad. I'm pretty sure one
Yeah.
of my coworkers and had to go home one night and actually watch Shrek because of me. It's 100% my fault.
See what
I'm
you've
kind of
done.
not really sorry though.
See what you've done. It's a
Yes,
perfect
Justin.
time. Here we
Justin
have
understands.
some rules. Let us lay them down. See, chat's on it. We
Uh,
have it.
we got it.
Got it.
We got it. Anyways,
Also,
I
before
have
we get
I have a.
started,
Oh, okay.
cut. All right. Yep. No. Before. Sorry.
I
Before we get
here.
started, um, For those of you that are not watching, I laid down the law. I smacked it like a fruit ninja. It was good. It was
I,
a good time.
I'm just I'm too tired to understand what's even happening right now.
All right.
I just stopped talking and I was like, okay.
Um. Okay. Um. I want to shout out Lone Star, Josh, and the crew at Lone Star Discs, um, for sending us amazing things. Um. This is Danny's stack, so we will go through this a little bit. Um.
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
Is it
Oh.
ever too hot to play disc golf, Johnny? I will get to that in a second.
Yeah. We'll get to that. But yeah, got you a BB6 lightweight.
For the wife,
Yup.
nice.
Some Glow Armadillo X outs.
Ooh,
Some Armadillo. Can't see. My camera is awful. But
close enough.
yeah. Then Lariat. Oop. And for the ones of you that were watching last week, um, and Josh was talking about how Machine 3 does like a radioactive symbol on Machine 3.
Yep.
Yup.
The
Here it is
a,
on the
a
walker.
nuclear walker.
And Daniel had to get that one for sure. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we got some matching discs and stuff like that, and
Have you
just
have
huge
you
shout out to Lone Star. And I
have you have you already taken yours out and thrown them?
no, I
Okay.
went out. All right, I went out Sunday, Monday, Sunday. Yep, Sunday
Monday.
at Hop Springs here in Tennessee. It's like a brewery slash bar slash live event concert place, and they have a huge disc golf course there. And we went there, played, and I got to hole 3, and I was like, man, I can't wait to try. And I had left them. I had left them at
Good.
home, and I was so sad about it. So you must
Good,
have an
actually, because
idea.
yeah, I was gonna tell you. I think you need to not use them, and the first time that we both throw them needs to be together for a video. Is what we need to do.
We can do that.
Do a little Lone Star disc challenge,
See, that's smart. I like
but we
that.
can't. But we got to do it soon because I can't wait to throw them much longer.
I know. You're lucky. That's all I'm saying. You're lucky that my arms hurt right now. Um.
Oh, your arms hurt. What happened?
Oh, wait. Oh, we didn't talk about this. So,
Oh,
um, I cannot throw backhands right now at all.
what happened? What
So
happened?
me and Jesse were playing. Jesse's one a guy that I play with a lot. He works with me. We play after work a lot, and we were playing out at Sharp Springs here in Middle Tennessee, and we tied after 18. We went to a playoff, and on hole 1, drove it, nah, just averagely, not very good. I
Yeah.
had to make like a scramble shot. I was behind a tree, and I threw the disc like to the side of the tree, but I fully committed, and for some reason I don't know why I didn't stop myself, but the tree hit on my elbow, and I just fully extended out past.
What the heck?
Yeah, so it went
This is
pop
the first
pop.
time I'm hearing this,
Yeah,
guys.
so it went pop pop, pop both ways. I honestly thought that I broke it. Um,
Just a little light dislocation,
yeah,
probably. A little
because
hyperextension.
like when you break a bone, how you like get sick to your stomach a lot of times. So like
Yeah, that's never happened to me, but I have had injuries that did make me sick to my
see,
stomach. So
so
yes, I
this one
get it.
made me sick to my stomach. So I just kind of assumed the worst, and I just couldn't move it. I couldn't even pick up nothing. So,
Ugh,
um,
I'm getting sick to
needless
my
to
stomach right
say,
now.
we just kind of set the tiebreaker off to the side and didn't play. Went
That's
back
it's a good
the
call.
the next 2 days. Like I really didn't have anything that I could do with my arm. um, I couldn't really pick nothing up. It just was really painful.
Oof.
Then now from the third day on to now, it's not bad. I just cannot extend it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought about
Well,
going. I thought about going and getting it seen about, but I have not yet. So on Sunday, I was a little worried because I hadn't threw anything, and I was like, I just hope it'll work. I go up there and I try to just like maybe a backhand. Nope.
Yeah.
It almost sent me to tears. I was like, oh
What?
god, yep, can't do it.
Where's
So,
where's the pain starting when you do?
oh, it's
Is it
right
like on
on
your
the
pull
back.
through?
No,
Is it on your pull through or is it on your extension?
it's like when I start to pull through all the way through. It's
Okay.
definitely here, like behind the elbow. I don't know what it is, but we will find out eventually, or I may never find out.
You've been have you been doing the good things? You've been ricing it or what?
Ricing it? No,
Rice it. You never heard rice?
no.
It tells you the difference in our high school athletics.
Aha, yeah.
Rice is rest ice compression elevation.
Yep, nope, nope. I have done none of that. I have
Well, there you have it, folks.
really
He
just
doesn't take care of
rested.
his body.
Yep, no. Oh, you know that. Everybody that knows me knows that.
Sounds like a dislocated weenus.
That is probably what it is, to be honest.
Well, I mean,
But it's
as long
better.
as it
It's
doesn't
getting
result
better
in
and better every day, so I'm just kind of
Tommy
letting it
John.
do its thing.
Yeah, I mean, keep it immobilized as much as you can, and then make sure you stretch it out a little bit every day.
Yeah, I do.
Because the thing is, if you're going to immobilize it, it'll heal faster. But if you don't stretch it out a little bit every day, it'll lock up on you, and that's really bad.
Yeah, so I have like from where I had torn my labrum a long time ago. I had these straps and bands,
Yeah.
so I went back to using those, and they seemed to really help. After I started using those, they helped a lot. So I just been kind of doing that here and there.
There you go.
But now that's enough about me and everything about me. So back to Johnny's question: is it ever too hot to play disc golf?
All right, I can chime in on this one as well.
I think we will have differing opinions.
So the answer is no, but it's also yes. Example: Sunday. I signed up late for a tournament on Sunday, and I had a great time. Unfortunately, I DNF'd the second round because I got massive cramps in my calves because I couldn't stay hydrated. And also, I have a magnesium deficiency, apparently, which apparently is something I have to work on. I'm just learning this recently. But um, I've got through the first round really well, really solid. The TD kind of put in a lot of funky temp holes, which if I take out the temp holes, I threw two beautiful rounds. If you put in the temp holes, I had a double bogey I shouldn't have taken on both rounds, which I'm not going to take any credit for that. I mean, yes, I did take double bogeys on them. Also, I didn't even know that they were going to be there until the day of the tournament, and I'd never practiced these shots before because they're not real holes on that course. And more to the point, they didn't need to be there. Like it's a full 18 hole course, and we had one, two, three, four temp holes. One of them is understandable. It's something that they do use commonly to get rid of another hole on the course. I get that. The other three had no idea. And they weren't available to practice beforehand. They were literally set up the morning of the tournament. And, well, there you have it. But outside of those, I played really well. The second round, I got through. So it ended up being it's like a 21 hole course when you play it all the way through. And I got through 19 holes and I went to step up. The basket on this hole was on a hill, and I went to step up, and when I stepped up to the basket, my foot, like your foot usually sits like this, and if this is your calf, right? I stepped up like as if you were doing a toe raise. You're walking up a hill, and my foot locked like this, just completely locked all the way up and down for like 45 seconds before I could get the muscle to release. And finally, I was just like, there's nothing I can do, man. I've had two body armors, two full Gatorades, three bottles of water. I can't stay hydrated. And the next hole was literally like 1,000 yards away because it's the way that this course is laid out. There's a front nine and then there's a back nine, and there's a long walk between them. Well, where we were laid out, I needed to walk back to the other side of the course for the last two holes. And I was just like, it's not happening. I did everything I could. I tried stretching it out, and I just finally said I can't. Whatever. I
Yeah,
signed up for this tournament on Thursday. I didn't care that much, you know.
right. Whereas I think, um, yeah, no,
And it was
I'm
so yes, no. I played wonderfully. I had a great time. I was dying of heat stroke the entire time I was out there. But when it gets so hot that over the course of 2 rounds, I physically can't keep myself hydrated enough to get through those rounds physically. That is the point where yes, it was too hot. It was
yeah,
too hot to play. If it weren't for my my dehydration there, I probably would have kept going.
right.
But it physically I could not go any farther
I kind of
without hurting
think
myself.
that it's okay. I mean, it can be hot. It can be, heat index 105, 110 or whatever, and you can still be out there. You just need to know how to moderate yourself. You need to listen to your body probably. Um, you need to definitely drink a lot of liquid, a lot, a lot, a lot. And for those of you that play with dogs and stuff, it's probably not best for them to be out there with you during that.
No.
Um, especially if that's the only way that you play. I know a lot of people that only go with their dog because it gets exercise and stuff like that. So if you're going for that reason, I wouldn't go. But if you're going with a purpose, trying to consistently get better or whatever like that, it's fine to be out there, but you need to moderate yourself. Make sure you drink plenty of liquids and do not be afraid to take breaks just because you think that somebody's on you. Um, you can always let someone pass.
Yeah.
Never feel rushed into doing something that you shouldn't. So that would be my take on that. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it too hot to play? And also I'd like to point out like the last week, this heat wave that's pushing through us here in Tennessee right now originally came from the southwest. And there was at least a few days I know last week where in Arizona, Las Vegas, like Phoenix, Vegas, and a couple other, places like that, it's it was like 114
Yeah.
in Phoenix, and that's the same heat wave that's pushing through us right now. The only difference is that we have humidity on top of it. So even though the temperatures are a little lower here than it is there, it's still like it gets miserable very quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm not excited for whatever you guys are going to see when that last push of the heat wave comes next Tuesday. Like I said, when I saw the weather report, the Nashville airport was reporting they were expecting 103 on Tuesday next week.
Yep. It's gonna be hot.
So
It's gonna be hot.
play, you know, take your time. Maybe if you guys got to get out there and play and it's this hot outside, maybe try to find your favorite 9-hole course that day instead of playing a full 18. Find your ace run course. Go out there, have a little bit of fun, but make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves. Drink a lot of water while you're out there. Stay hydrated. I can't say that enough. Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated. If you guys have never used it, not a sponsor, but Liquid IV is the bee's knees,
Oh, it's
man.
great for you. I just cannot stand the way it tastes.
Oh, you just got to chug it. You
Yeah.
pound it.
Oh,
You can't.
it's horrible. It's great for
Yeah.
you, but God, it's horrible.
It's not that bad. I think he's over exaggerating a little
I
bit.
mean, it's just like it's so thick. It, eh.
What?
Yeah, it's thick.
How are you drinking it?
What do you mean? How am I drinking it?
How much water are you putting it in?
In a bottle of water?
I've never had liquid IV get thick on me.
Yeah, it's like
Hey,
it's like it's like cough syrup thick, like that that
no, no,
that
no,
consistency.
no, no. That is that
Yeah,
okay. You got a bad batch then or something
I
because
don't
dear
like it.
lord, that has never happened to me, guys. Don't listen to him. I don't. He might be confusing products with something. I don't know what he's doing. He
I have
mixes it with
I
Mountain Dew.
I have the bag. I will go get it right now. I will go get it.
Uh, on my life, I have never had it get any thicker than a Gatorade.
Yeah, it's definitely thicker
And
than that.
if you get the lemon lime flavor, it
That's
really
the
does.
one I have.
It tastes like a Gatorade, just a lot
Ugh,
saltier. But yeah,
not a
you just pound
fan.
it and move on.
It would
but
probably
Liquid
be better
IV.
with Mountain Dew though.
I don't know about that. I'm scared. All right, well, let's get talking about fun stuff.
Yeah, that was our
Fun
20
stuff.
minute intro. Now, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
All right, so Beaver State Fling. Um, as we covered a little bit last week, uh, Double G came in second to Simon Lizotte last week, but that's okay because he came to his favorite course, supposedly, and was able to take it down with a bogey free tournament in general.
A
Just bogey free. That was
bogey
nice.
free 54 hole tournament.
Mm-hmm. That's
Hats off,
impressive.
sir.
Yep. He
Hats
played
off. I
very well
threw
through the elements, through the conditions. He did it all. Um,
I just looked down and I actually just saw on my taskbar that I have an upcoming heat advisory.
nice.
You're a little bit late, bud. We're already there.
Like we've already covered this. Thanks.
Uh,
But yeah, so Double
anyways,
G ends up taking it down. Um, we ended up having Adam Hammis. Let me make sure if this is right. But
hmm, Adam Hammis.
yeah, he was on. This is one of the things I wanted to out. Adam Hammis was on the lead card with Garrett, Corey Ellis, and Linus Carlson. And both Linus slipped all the way down to sixth, and Adam Hammis slipped all the way down to 20th. Um,
Oof.
that's rough. All right, there was a lot of people on the chase card and the third card that were really giving a push. One of those being Joel Freeman, who came in second. Um, he was putting on a scorcher of a round. He ended up shooting 11 down, tied with Cole Red Allen for the hot round in round three.
Yep.
The I don't know. I'm sure everybody's probably seen it, but the Ace by Joel Freeman. I was watching live and I just had to text. I text Daniel. I was like, I just witnessed an Ace on DGN. He's like, oh, thanks. Yeah, you're a little ahead of me. Um,
my my stream was behind. No, I wasn't mad at him actually. It was really funny because I wasn't really paying attention at that point. I don't know what I was doing, but it was probably not long after I had gotten home from leaving my tournament. And so I was talking to my wife, and he sent me a message like, "I just witnessed an ace live," and I was like, I looked up, and all of a sudden I see him ace, and I'm like, "Wow,
wow.
that
But he
was really
was,
cool."
yeah, he was really shooting well. Um, Corey Ellis coming in third. Um, if the basket wouldn't have um, just spit his putter out the bottom of the basket, he would be tied for second right now. But it's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be a conversation for later. Don't worry.
yeah, that's gonna be a part of Daniel's drama, surely.
Daniel has so much drama this week; it's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
But shout out to Cole Redallen. Glad to see him get in the mix. A lot of the young guys, Evan Scott and Cole, both tied for fourth there.
Yeah, Cole
Other,
shot an 11 down that final day. That was
it was very good.
beautiful,
It was good.
very impressive.
Yeah. But other than that, that's about all we got. Congrats to Garrett. Um, for
Yeah,
FPO, what is it?
before, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say before we get off that, I mean, Joel Freeman was putting together a fantastic round, and as naive or vain as this might sound, uh, I think the ace hurt him more than it helped him.
It's very hard to have those emotions after an ace and not followed up with a mistake. And he
Yeah,
did. That's just the way it goes. He went ace bogey
ace, well,
after shooting amazingly.
ace bogey, and then par par par, and he was able to finish off 18 with the birdie, which was outstanding. I mean, you're talking there were only two birdies all of
Yeah,
day three on 18. So to have gone out there and birdied that, I mean, I just almost feel like he would have had a chance to actually give Garrett a run for his money if he takes a birdie there, and then pars or birdies 14. plays 15, 16, and 17, one or two down there, and then still birdies 18. You're talking about him giving that a real run for the money. And I think that the ace, as awesome as it was, and as cool as it was to gain two strokes on Garrett with that one, swing of his
Yeah,
arm, he couldn't keep the emotions in check well enough to finish off the round and really give it a good solid run.
yeah, I agree.
So
But I mean, it's one of those things. Would you trade it? It's like trade it off. Trade the trade off there is um,
yeah, it's
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 kind of
hard.
it's hard. Yeah, that's basically all you can chalk it up to. Um, in the FPO, um, the final day was a little bit surprising, in some would say. Valerie Mondahano ended up with a total of 11 down, taking down the tournament with a 5 down round three.
Bo- Bogey free round three as
Yes,
well.
bogey free round three. A lot of rhyme in there. And then you had second place Katrina Allen at 7 down, shooting a 3 over round. And then you had Owen Scoggins coming in third, finishing up the podium, shooting even for round three. Um, the big storyline of this was it, Katrina really didn't shoot very well round three at all.
No,
Um,
I would go ahead and classify it as a collapse.
yeah, I mean, it was just the entire round, though. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It was just the whole day.
Well, oh
It's
yeah, well, that's what I mean. I mean, it was a true collapse.
Yeah,
Not in the sense of, oh, she just had one hole that really just,
no,
no. It was, she collapsed day three.
and the way that the field is now, maybe in previous years, you could kind of ride that the lead that you had built up round one and round two to a victory.
Yeah,
And the way it is now, there's killers out there in the FPO, and Valerie Mondahano is one of them. They will
I think
take
the
what
word,
they give you.
yeah, I think the word you're looking for there is sharks. There are sharks in the water in FPO now,
Yep.
and Valerie Mondahano, she smelt blood and she attacked.
Yes.
And she did it very well. And the conditions that they had to traverse in round three, given that in rounds one and two, the FPO side actually had fairly favorable conditions when in comparison to MPO.
MPO. Right.
And on round three, it kind of flip flopped on them a little bit, where I felt like FPO had a little bit of worse conditions than MPO did.
Yep.
And you just never know who's going to react well and who's not going to react well in those types of conditions. And as we saw, Valerie kept a really strong head on her shoulders and
Yes.
did not let those conditions phase her whatsoever. Whereas Katrina Allen just fell apart.
Yep. That's the way that the cookie crumbled.
And that's the
um.
way it was.
Yeah. So really, with that being said, congratulations to both Valerie and Garrett on their Beaver State Fling. Um, I would like to note one thing. They they started off by saying, "Yes, we will have live coverage on Sunday," and then they retracted that statement and said there will be no live coverage at all. And then,
And
out of
then they brought the live
nowhere,
coverage back.
there's live coverage again.
Now, can you tell me, was there an actual post by DGPT or a DGN official type of page that
I,
said there would not be coverage? Because I heard the rumor fly around and it flew around very hard and very fast, but I never saw an official post from them that said
there was
we
an
will
official
not
post.
have live
Yes,
coverage.
we were sorry that it was saying we were sorry to inform that some of the things had failed through, and blah blah blah. I did see a post on that that they were still going to try and still work out some kinks if it was available. So it
Okay.
wasn't just ruling it out necessarily, but everybody just kind of run with that and said, "Oh, okay, well now it's not."
Gotcha.
But
That makes more sense because that's what I was thinking. I was like, I never saw a post that said we're sorry, we will be 100% unable to provide this
yeah,
this
no,
weekend.
there never was a post that said there was 100% no live coverage. They was just kind of what do you call that? Self handicapping. They were basically self handicapping themselves.
It was damage control.
Yeah,
It was if they got to Sunday and they weren't able to provide, at least they had warned the masses in
and
some way,
to be
shape, or form.
honest, with the weather the way it was, I thought the coverage was actually really well, and I was just super stoked to hear the commentary. The commentary team, it's my favorite all time. All right, it just
Yeah,
is. Charlie and Brian just put on a great show. They make things better. I could listen to Charlie be the play-by-play guy 100% of the time and never complain. He builds
absolutely.
moments. He creates drama. He tells it like it is when people blow up, and when people do something great, he really rewards that. And he hands it over to Brian at perfect times and lets Brian actually take over the show
Yeah,
with good info. And if it's not good info, he'll take it right back.
yeah, yeah. I just, I mean, it's just the best. Um, it was a little actually in the I will say in the MPO coverage at the very beginning. The first couple of holes were a little bit awkward. It was almost like I don't know if they were having some technical difficulties, but there were some extended moments of silence that I was like, okay,
Yeah,
that's happening. But
right.
outside of that, I mean, in terms of the actual commentary itself, it still is the best.
Yeah,
You know, I'm just waiting for the day that we get them for a full, 3 4 day
Elite Series.
elite series.
Me
I
too.
need it. I want it. I want it, and I need it, and that's just how it is.
I thought the
So
way that they handled Adam Hammis's blow up was very, very good. Um, it. I mean, I don't know how they want to go about that, but like we're all grown adults here. But like
yeah,
there was cussing and stuff in the live broadcast, and usually they try to avoid that in any kind of live thing.
of
So
course.
like, what do you do if you're the disc golf network there?
Um, personally, I mean, because what was it? I mean, it was actually one of the few times that I've ever heard like Nate Doss say something that was just absolutely hysterical. Was a few weeks ago when we had Simon Lazat on the lead card, and he said some few choice words,
Right.
and Nate Doss goes, "I'm pretty sure that means I love it in German."
I missed that. I missed that. That's funny.
And I think that was probably in terms of like how do you cover something like that? That was one of the funniest
It was
things that
one of
I
the
had
better
ever
ones.
heard. Yeah,
Shout out Nate
easily
Doss. There you
top
go.
top five Nate Doss moments I've ever heard was when he said that. um,
It's
but
just like one of
uh,
those things that it's got to be a part of the damage control too. You want to capture
absolutely,
raw emotion, right? And you
yeah.
can't control the players on how they're going to react. Like that's just not it's just not the way that it works. And with live sports, that's what you're going to get. And things filter through. Um it I guess it's just a part of it, but
I mean, the only other thing, the other option that you have is intentionally creating a little bit longer of a delay,
that way
as
somebody
a
can
lot of
bleep
a lot
things.
of live, yeah, exactly, a lot of
Yeah,
live sports have, or a little bit of a delay in their broadcast, and it's very intentional, so that if something like that does come across, they have somebody that's in the video processing team that sees it and can go back, fix it, or at least turn off the sound for that moment as it's being broadcast.
right.
Whatever it is. I mean, that's the most that you can do.
Yeah,
It's live sports. You can't, the only other option is if you hear that come along, switch cameras before it happens, or this, that, the other. There's a lot of options, but in terms of how they handled it as a commentary crew,
yeah.
I thought they did very well.
I think so too. I don't like the fact that after that whole spiel that happened, they just kept the camera pointed right in his face the entire time. Even
Yeah,
to
that was
that was a little much. Um, I just switch over, get over that moment, and go on. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I would think, but
It's
Um,
are you saying that like you didn't like that for Adam Hammis so much, or as the viewer you didn't like that?
Both.
Okay,
Like
so what I
it
have to say in
almost
terms
kind
of
of
like,
raised that anxiety of like, oh god, what's he gonna say? Which a lot of people may like
yeah,
that, you know, but for
it's
me
it's
watching,
real.
it's just the tension's not needed there. I don't feel like.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it helps create a story, I suppose,
Yeah.
when push comes to shove. Now, in terms of like your camera switches and stuff like that, um, as the camera people are doing that out in the field, he's never taken that camera off. So at that point, it's 100% whether the producing team decides to switch the camera or not, because whether they switch or not does not affect how that camera person's gonna
Oh
gonna
yeah.
react. So if you're Adam Hammis, you have to accept that that camera is going to be pointed on you regardless of what your reaction is.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I think Adam Hammis needs to handle himself better out on the course or handle himself worse out on the course.
Yeah.
He is
No.
who he is. I don't. That is what it is. It's up to the producing team to decide whether that's stuff that they want to portray throughout the building the story of an event.
Right.
And it's a lot harder too because you also have to consider that they're trying to build a story for this event, being that it's a silver series, and they only have one day of the live broadcasting that they can build this story. Yes, they have the post produced coverage and stuff like that, but as we saw this last weekend, they had issues with that as well.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where they are trying to build an entire story in one day, and maybe they felt that that was something they wanted to leave there. I couldn't tell you because I'm not the producers, but
Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, that's just our tidbits and takeaways of that tournament. Do you want to go ahead and go into some Daniel's drama?
But well, before that, I kind of wanted to touch on Katrina Allen a little bit.
Okay. Well, this could
Um,
be part of it.
it could be something interesting. Now, I'm not going to do it this week. We're not going to do it this week, but next week I think we are going to go for a full power rankings revision from our last power rankings. We're going to see who moved up, who moved down, who moved off the list, who might have moved on the list, and so on and so forth. But before we do that, next week, let's talk a little bit about Katrina Allen this week because I mean, she's somebody who is easily in our FPO top five,
Oh yeah.
last time around. And I'm not going to say that she slipped off of our top five, but she's definitely moved down.
Yeah.
And I have to preface that with if you guys have not been paying attention to how her season has gone so far, after Texas State and Belton, so basically after the Texas swing, she has now had a blow up round that at the very least cost her a chance to fight for the win in 6 of the 8 events on the Pro Tour or a major since then.
Right.
I
It's
mean,
yeah.
at this point, it's almost downright worrying because the question is, as you were talking about, where the field's not necessarily the way it used to be, where you can't have down rounds like that and still expect to win because you've got these sharks in the water, they're going to smell blood, they're going to attack it. But my question is are we really seeing a situation where there was a little bit of blood in the water and Valerie attacked, which she did, but Kat still had full control of that round up until the back nine,
Yeah.
really, when you look at it, and she just did not respond well. And she has played herself with at least one round out of every tournament, essentially, since she last won.
Right.
Is
And
it time to be worried? And is this a mental state thing she needs to fix? Does she need to make some adjustments in her bag? Are we just seeing the repercussions of the West Coast swing for her? Maybe she's tired. What are we thinking? What do you think her mind is at right now? Where
well,
where do you think she is?
with you saying that, um, she posted on Instagram yesterday and said the first and second round felt so amazing in 36 holes. I only had one bogey, which came from my only missed circle one putt. I felt like my confident, calm, competitive, unstoppable self. Unfortunately, that feeling left on Sunday. I felt quite the opposite. As you guys know, I'm not big on excuses, but I'm really struggling with something I've been working on healing from for years. It is holding me back mentally on the course. On those days, I find it hard to concentrate. I'm irritable, and the last place I want to be is on the course with cameras and pressure. With that said, I just want my fans, friends, and family to know that I will continue to fight this demon. I know when I overcome this struggle that it will bring me to a new level because my game really feels right where it needs to be. So that was her response, basically.
Interesting. Interesting.
So,
Um,
um, and then one of her uh, sponsors, Squatch Disc Golf, said, "Death, taxes, and Katrina Allen overcoming anything in her path in pursuit of championships. These things in life are certain." So, yeah, whatever you're working
I like
through,
the
Katrina,
response.
just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, that's interesting. Um, because she kind of goes back and forth there a little bit. She makes it sounds like a physical injury,
And then a
and then it sounds
mental.
like a mental injury, maybe a mental injury surrounded by a physical
That's
injury.
kind of where I leaned with it, is like a physical injury that's lingering that's causing her a mental collapse when she's in pressure situations. But nonetheless, take the time, fix yourself, get right. That's what we all want, the best version of everybody. So
Yeah,
whatever it takes to do
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just it's seemingly unexpected too. It's one of the things where as a player, we view her as being just absolutely strong and competitive out there in the fields, and
Right.
um, it just doesn't feel like she has that mojo for full 3 to 4 days in a row. We can clearly see that her talent and her skill level is not dipped any, but definitely she's battling some demons out on the course, and disc golf's better when she's competing for titles. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll get into a little bit of Daniel's drama. Um,
Oh snap! The missus is here. Everybody act cool.
oh no. So I created some Twitter drama this week. Oops,
I
my bad.
noticed.
Yeah.
I noticed. I was
So
like, dang, okay. Somebody, yeah, I'll
so
let
I
you do
went
it.
out there. It was on Sunday morning. I had posted, I tweeted, I said, the fact that it's 12:40 a.m. on Sunday and we still don't have the post produced back nine for round one of MPO is a little embarrassing, honestly. And when I said that, I want you to know, like, my context of it is like a man, that's just a little embarrassing,
Right, a little
like
lazy.
oh,
It's like,
it just felt like and somebody promptly tweeted back at me and they said, well, tell us how much you paid for that coverage. And they kind of said it felt like they said it in a joking manner, and I was like, well, I mean, I am a subscriber of DGN and it's not up on there yet either. And he kind of went off on me, and I'm going to give him, to his credit, um he kind of went off and basically explains that he just kind of gets upset when people complain about free stuff, and that when you complain about something free, that it's an empty complaint. You're getting this product for free. We're talking about something that's on YouTube, these post-produced rounds. Yes, it's also on DGN, which was my half-hearted joking argument, of course. um but he also made a very good point at one point in time. um and I mean, I can just go ahead and read it to you. um Basically, he said your entire podcast relies on the labor of so many other people, and this is your take. And he said it's truly pathetic. And I kind of went back at him and I said, look, it's not that serious. I'm well aware this is a first world problems kind of a take, and it's more of a joke than anything. I'm sorry if I offended you. Now, I have to at least reel back a little bit, right?
mm-hmm.
He makes a very good point. You're talking about something that is free for us to view and to enjoy. It's not something that they have to do. It's not like this is part of the live broadcast schedule that we have paid for in terms of these post-produced rounds. So I really do get that, and I apologize for that as well. Like I take that for granted. We all kind of take that for granted. But to play a little bit of devil's advocate, I do want to point out that this is something that they talked about in the beginning of the year. when they started making these deals with Jomez and Central Coast Disc Golf and um, GK Pro, and they started
Gatekeeper and such.
allocating all of these tournaments to people to produce and this, that, and the other. And one of the deals was when they started doing these silver series where they're going to live broadcast the last round for most of them and then have somebody, whoever it is, handle the post production, but it's going to be posted on Disc
Disc
Golf
Golf Pro
Pro
Tour.
Tours.
Right.
And that's fine. But at that point, you do have to kind of consider that they did promise a product essentially. And when you get to day three, regardless of whether it's the first hour of day three or whether the live coverage has already started, that round did not get posted until Sunday morning at almost 9 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah.
That's frustrating, right? We're trying to be good fans and we're really trying to, and like I said, I want to preface, I know that the comment itself is selfish and it was definitely a first world probs kind of an issue, but I also want to point out that they have created this you know promise to us as the viewer to get this stuff done, and they failed that task, right?
Right.
Now, I want to also point out that we don't have any idea what happened or why it took so long. There was no statement necessarily. I don't want to raise any assumptions to say, like, oh, they were just being lazy. There could have been all kinds of issues that we don't know about. Maybe they lost footage, they had data file drops. Who knows what
Yeah.
could have
Anything could
caused
have happened.
that to not. Maybe they tried to upload it onto YouTube and onto DGN. They had upload failures. There could have been any 100, 200% number of failures. However, what I will say, if there's one thing that I can honestly say I am disappointed in, is the fact that they didn't make any statements about it.
Right.
They didn't give us a timeline. They didn't say, okay, well, back nine will be posted. Here's when we expect it to be posted, or hey, we're sorry, we thought back nine would be posted right now. We're having a couple of issues with the files or this. We're having some issues. We will get it up as soon as possible. And that lack of communication for what is essentially a promised product is the one thing that I do kind of want to say you fell short. You fell short, DGN, a little bit.
Yep.
Not a lot, just a little bit. And I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I think you guys have done a wonderful job. The increase in quality we've seen, especially on the live coverage side, has been nothing short of amazing in 2022. If you just go back and watch live coverage from 21 and compare it to 22, you will see the leaps and bounds that they have made. They have put in so much effort this year. However, I do feel like the communication leaves some to be desired. And another point of that communication is the rumors and the widespread fear and panic, for lack of a better term, of not having a live round on Sunday, and the confusion on whether or not it would be there also lacked a decent line of communication as well.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I
I
mean?
mean, that's true. I mean, communication is key. So, but at the same time, they can't just put out a statement every day. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, this went wrong. Oh, well, this went wrong. This went wrong. So sometimes it's just better to let the punches roll and go on with the
It
show.
and yeah, you are absolutely right. But also, I feel like from my point of view, when I look at this, if we really want this sport to grow to the point where someday maybe we have even ESPN covering this type of coverage live, we can't have these types of shortcomings now. Not when we've made so much progress to have these types of shortcomings and then not communicate about it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a big step backwards.
Yeah. Well,
There it is.
I guess we'll see on the next Silver Series and see how they handle that there. Um,
Yeah, I mean, at least we're not having these issues with the Elite Series,
yeah.
which is what is part of, that is what they've promised us right now. The Elite Series is, they've kind of prefaced it at least with a we're going to try our best. This is what we expect to happen. They've fallen short a couple of times. They've had some issues here and there. At least the Elite Series are still on track to continue performing the way that they are. And
Right.
that is very good news.
That is right.
Uh, Outside of that, let's head over into our basket issue. I feels it's unfortunate, man. It feels like we're having this conversation on a bi-weekly basis at this point. It's every other week.
Yeah.
It really does feel like we've started talking about this. But if you guys have not paid attention, let me just preface it with it happened again. Another outcome that's undesirable, that was completely avoidable, happened again. And this time, Corey Ellis was the victim. All
Yes.
right. And I will even say, like, we've heard all of my complaints, bad tee boxes, the trash cans under the basket, which I will point out they have. I believe they've rolled out the 2.0 versions, and they have been much better
They do look
from
better.
what I've seen. It's not only that they look better, they perform better. They've softened the blows. They're not just like whipping discs off of them
Right.
100 feet in random directions. They're actually cushioning the blow a little bit, making less of an effect on the play. Kudos to them for that. However, this time we had a basket malfunction, and if you guys haven't seen it, I was gonna have the video ready for tonight, but I don't have it ready, so I can't. But if you guys hop on Twitter, I actually did retweet um, a clip of a 60-second clip of it, and Corey Ellis basically just had putt dead center chains dropped into the basket, fell out of the bottom of the basket.
Yeah.
Now I want to point out there's been a lot of talk about this, but Coriolis made the mistake, at the very least, of not calling a provisional when reputting.
Yeah.
And he walked up, he tapped it in. He should have called a provisional there. I'm not saying it would have overturned that call, but
Right.
at least if he had done the provisional, he gave the ability for that to be changed. Because if you go up, you make that putt, you didn't call a provisional, even if you go back and argue it, it's highly unlikely that you're going to have that get changed later on. This
Right.
isn't like Paul Macbeth last year when he took that random OB, he challenged it, he got it overturned. He made a valid argument on the course. He talked to the TD, he talked to the rules guys, he talked to the Pro Tour guys, and he made his argument there on the course. They told him to play it as it was. He challenged it, he won. Corey Ellis did not do that. He just walked up, tapped it in, moved on. And even if he challenged it afterwards, it doesn't feel like he gave himself the best chance to have that overturned.
Right.
Yes, I agree with that. I understand that argument. However, this should not happen. It's unacceptable. This isn't, and again, this isn't just like a T pad that slipped. Oh, that could happen to anybody situation. The basket did not catch. And from what I understand, from what everybody has talked about, I cannot 100% confirm this. I cannot deny it. But from what I understand, it was a basket that had been repaired and the repair failed. And it caused there to be a gap large enough in the bottom of the basket for a disc to slip through.
Right.
Tell me your thoughts. What do you think?
I mean, you basically summed it up. There's not a lot to talk about other than it's unacceptable. Um, Eventually, they will get this figured out to a basket that is standardized. So it's just kind of a growing pain, unfortunately. It's kind of one of those things that if it could happen, it will happen. It's just they have to like make sure that whatever the basket is that they're designing will cover all the bases because it can't fall out the bottom, it can't fall out the side, it's got to have good chains. There's a lot that has to be right about a basket. Do you know what kind of basket that was by
If
chance?
I'm not mistaken, those are more than likely disc catchers. Based on the band, that's the best I can say. Obviously, they have special tournament coverings on the band, so they
It's
weren't
hard to
very
say.
easily identifiable. But disc catchers have the most consistent band width to what we saw out on the course out there that I recognize. So I'm going to say it's probably a disc catcher, maybe even a disc catcher pro. Um,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Now, the thing that I have to point out about it is I understand that the tour might not be ready to do these types of standardizing projects, right? We know we've heard Jeff Spring talk about the T pads more recently. After Jonesboro, he did, get on and do an interview where he talked about what is minimal requirements for T pads. Technically, all the T pads that we've seen, regardless of the issues that we have, currently do meet the standards. He said they're always updating and trying to make sure that their standards are better and so on and so forth. Now, the thing I have to say about the basket is if the information that we're hearing is correct and that basket is a repaired basket and it was not repaired correctly, I mean, at that point in time, it not only falls on um, the Pro Tour for not ensuring that all the equipment used out there was in good serviceable condition, but it also falls on the course and
The
the people
course and
who,
TD as well.
yeah, the people who put in for that course to be used and making sure that everything is in working order. Now, I have to say, if I had one thing that I think that could have eliminated this entirely, no repaired baskets.
Yeah.
We don't have to standardize baskets yet. Do I believe it's coming eventually? Probably. Do I think it has to be right now? Not necessarily. I understand the complaints. I agree with them. There's no good solution right now because if you are going to standardize baskets, you have to heighten somebody's brand name over the rest of it, and that would not be good for disc golf in the current state.
Right.
So, outside of that, they have to design a basket. That's a very hard thing to do because they either need to take their name and do it all 100% themselves, or they need to take input from another brand, which again will elevate that brand. So standardizing baskets, probably not in play right now, but 100% I have no problem with the idea of having a rule that says we can't have repaired baskets on the course.
Right.
They need to be in 100% functional order as it would have been left from the factory, not something that has been repaired, been fixed. It can't be something that has had prior damage that could malfunction later on. It's got to be. And the other thing is like Milo is such a storied course. I know that course has funding.
Yes,
You know, it
absolutely.
it almost it feels like there's no reason that they should have a repaired basket on a pro tour event at that course. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's being selfish. But when it affects play to this level, you're talking about somebody competing for a championship. Who knows what that did to his mindset at that point in time?
Yeah, I mean, uh, that's that kind of image is not what disc golf needs. All right, that kind of publicity is not the publicity that we need because then people are like, oh, it's a joke. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
bad for the sport. So if you don't want things like that happening, then the people in charge need to fix it.
yeah.
That's just the way it is. Johnny says in chat, standardized baskets are a must. Agreed. An independent company should make them to avoid favoritism. The only thing about that is, of course, they would have to go with the independent company to make them. Uh, but what's that independent company going to do after they make that? Are they going to be the ones making them consistently? Because now, hear me out. All right. If you have a DGPT basket, okay, and they are made by blah 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 fabricators. Let's just put it like that. Um, all of these other companies, all of these other manufacturers that are making baskets are still selling to courses that are local to us and local to anyone out there and promoting their own baskets. If DGPT has baskets and this company, this fabrication company, is making those baskets, any course that is wanting to be on the Pro Tour, all right, whether that be Silver Series, Elite Series, any kind of event, do you not think that they're going to want to try to get DGPT baskets, right? So, does that push that independent company up above all of the other manufacturers? Is that is that what you want? Like how or
No,
is it
I
only
think actually
traveling
if we go
baskets?
I think yeah, I'm gonna go with his comment here, and he says, "Well, the Pro Tour should bring the baskets to the events." That was actually one of the ideas that I had. When push comes to shove, actually, the manufacturer doesn't matter because let's say, for the sake of the argument here, DGPT designs a basket and Discraft is going to be the manufacturer. That doesn't matter because it's not if DGPT does this correctly in my mind, the manufacturer will be irrelevant because if they make it and they use it in this traveling basket format where it's this is only a basket you're going to find on the DGPT. This is something that we will consistently use. That way, there are no complaints. You can't say, well, the baskets at this location catch better than this location. You're using the same baskets all the way around. It is something that only they can use. It cannot be labeled and resold to anybody else at any point in time. That way, even the company that manufactures them, whether it's a big name or not a big name, does not get an elevation out of it.
Right. I
That
mean,
is, in my opinion, right now, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. If I had to make a decision today, that would be my option. Is you design a basket as the Pro Tour, you commission whether you could even go for bids, Innova, Discraft, MVP, doesn't matter. Whoever is willing to manufacture them for the price that you're looking for, but they are not allowed to relabel that design and sell them. They are exclusively for use by DGPT, and you make enough of them for them to carry to any of the tournaments that they need to, and then you move on.
or here's another option to this. You patent the design as the DGPT, but you get them manufactured by all of the brands. All right, but they have to use that design.
You can't do that because you're going to have material inconsistencies at that point. It still has to be one company, because if you get that inconsistency from Innova chains, whether the weight of the chain is different from this one, because the patent design is really going to only cover, for the most part, the
The
shapes, the
sizing,
intellectual property, the sizing, all of that sort of stuff. So you cannot create that line of inconsistency. The one option that you could have that would help you in that scenario is certain people make certain parts of the baskets. MVP
right?
makes the basket. Innova supplies the chains. Um, Discraft
Discraft
supplies
supplies
the band.
the pole and the band. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean you could
so
do stuff like that.
yeah, you could do that. But again, the design has to come from DGPT if you're going to do any of these options we're offering right now. Which again, these aren't necessarily anything close to what they might end up doing if they ever standardize
Right.
baskets.
That would be
For
called the
all we know,
Frankenstein basket.
what they could end up doing is they could say, here's our bidding, create a design exclusive for DGPT, and whatever company bids that design, they get it.
Yeah.
That is entirely possible.
I mean that's
They
more than
the
likely what
DG
will happen.
the DGPT's job is not to create a friendly relationship between brands,
No.
right? That's not their job. So more than likely they don't care. But I think if we're going to do this right in terms of what's best for disc golf as a whole, traveling baskets, even if that means that you design adapters so that they'll go in any base or pole that you need them to go into at the time, whatever that might mean. And then you have either one manufacturer make the entire basket, but they're not allowed to relabel it and sell it as their own ever. Or again, you have certain manufacturers uh, manufacture parts, and then DGPT assembles it, takes them out on tour. That is my ideal scenario personally, is one of those two options.
Right. Hard to say. I don't know.
And the other thing too is that if you have traveling baskets, you can ensure that those baskets are being inspected and cared for on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And if that happens, you're never going to have this type of an issue again.
I agree.
Because
I
this
mean,
this
they
this
definitely need to be
particular
checked
issue,
on very, very regularly.
yeah, because I mean this particular issue, when push comes to shove, is a downright lack of upkeep,
Hmm.
and and whatever the word that I'm looking for that I'm too tired to think of right now.
Yeah. So that pretty much wraps that up.
Yeah, that's pretty much all that is.
Um, we can go into the match play. Um, but
Match play is more drama.
it is. Go ahead and read off the list you have there.
All right. So I want to preface this with, again, there's a little bit of a lack of communication here, and I'm not going to say it's Pro Tour's fault necessarily. This is
This
just
is this is a lot of the
rumors
players
swirl,
and rumors and yeah, this is
rumors swirl, and you never know what's going to happen.
yeah. It was somewhat like this
So
last year as well.
now, in terms of our player pools for MPO, you have Calvin Heimberg, Aaron Gossage, Mason Ford, Anthony Barella, Gannon Burr, Simon Lazat, Ezra Aderhold, Jeremy Colling, James Conrad, Nicola Castro, Kyle Klein. God, every time
Calvin Klein.
it just slips out. I can't stop it. Alden Harris, congratulations. Joel Freeman, KJ, Luke Humphreys, and Chandler Fry.
Yes.
On the FPO side, you have Valerie Mandahamo, Emily Beach, Maria Oliva, Van Dyken, Gannon, Mandahano, the other Mandahano, Handley, Cox, Cat Merch, Scoggins, Fakis, King, Ella Hansen, Hokum, Natalie Ryan, Jay Allen. That is your unofficial lineup. That was posted by the Disc Golf Pro Tour on their Twitter as of 6 days ago. The one thing that we know is that we've heard Calvin Heimberg is considering skipping. We've heard a couple other players say that they are considering skipping, and a lot of the hubbalaboo, hulla blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Um,
that word.
that yeah, the hubbaloo is that a lot of players are saying that they're thinking they're going to skip. They want to take a break. I know FPO swing right now is a little bit tougher even because they've got what women's USDGC,
Yes.
WUSDGC coming up, and a couple other events like that. And there's a lot of players who just kind of want to take a break
Yeah. And match
and stuff
play
like
is
that.
not ranked highly among the players.
No. One of the other things that I want to point out is this year, uh, as it stands, players will compete in a pool play, playing each member of their four-person pool in round one. The winner of each pool will advance to the final four, and the final four will play in a standard match play.
Right. I don't know if I like that.
Interesting. Yes, it doesn't feel like match play
Right.
because at that point you feel like you're playing stroke play
It
and
feels
then you're
like what they
playing
were
match play.
trying to do with Champions Cup.
Feels like they're just, kind of, you know, passing off their dirty laundry to somebody else. Peep the dog in the background. Aspen, Aspen,
Hmm.
come here.
I don't know how you just now noticed. Aspen's been back there the whole time.
I've heard her back there. She was sleeping for a little while, but if you guys can't see right now, I've got my dog on the camera. She's a cutie. I've got my other buddy Bandit, but he's a little more chill. He's just kind of the wife is on a flight to Nevada right now, so I'm alone and thus the dogs are hanging out with me here in the stream room.
Yeah.
And anyways, outside of that sidetracked, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. No.
So we heard a lot of people say stuff like um they need to move match play to the beginning of the season or the end of the season. We won't have so many players dropping. We don't have a Ricky Wysocki. We don't have a Paul Macbeth. Blah 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 blah. And the truth of the matter is, I don't see it being any better wherever you move it.
No.
They have to, if they it's the same thing that we talked about with All Stars at the beginning of the year when we had so many players drop is regardless of where you put it in the season, it's got to become a more desirable event and there has to be buffer time. You
Yeah.
have to have time off because I had talked about having the All Stars, event in the middle of the season, like a lot of other sports do. So if we're thinking about it, right here would be when All Stars event could have possibly have taken place,
I
and
don't
you
know
have to
why
get
you couldn't put them together.
and yeah, and having the All Star event, take place via voting process, match play as a play in. Maybe you even have those two going as a back to back weekends, but you got to
Right.
have a buffer between the big events and these if you're going to do them in a mid season form, whatever that means. You've got to have that buffer so that players are still feeling like they're getting a little bit of a break, even if they come out and play this type of event. And then number two, the other thing we talked about with All Stars, which is the same here, is that has to be incentivized in some way, shape, or form if you want the
Right.
best to compete. Otherwise, it's not surprising that players are going to take this type of time off. This isn't. We're not talking about you know football or baseball or basketball where yes they play. Baseball plays 162 games in a season, not even including the postseason. But at the same time, when they do that, they're still spending 7-10 days at home and then 7 and 10 days on the road. You have to think these touring pros when they go on a full tour. We give so much crap to Chris Dickerson and how he doesn't tour and this and blah 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 blah. You have to think that these players to complete a full tour the way it's designed right now means that they are away from home 3, 4, 5, 6 months in a row, and they need time off. The players want to go home just as much as we want to go home from work on any given day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's really hard on them. And without either an incentive or a reason to play, on top of having a little bit of a break somewhere, Players are going to drop, and that's not going to be something we're ever going to see change unless the incentivized process is there.
Yeah.
But the question is, how do we incentivize match play to be something desirable for all the top names?
So I think that the one way that you could incentivize it is through branding. Um, use like whoever the winners are gets blah blah blah. Like you get the commercial on Disc Golf Pro Tour. You get to be um on the sponsored ads on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Whereas it promotes your brand while also promoting the tournament. That's
Right.
something that they should do for something of that style. You know, an all star event, a match play, and I
Right.
think they should do that with the majors as well. Um, I I think that that would help. I think that a trophy, a traveling trophy, would help. Something that is can build a legacy around. You know, some sort of cup of some sort, and I think that if you could get that going with building a history, you know, building a legacy around a match play style event, I
Right.
think it would bring in players eventually, but I think it's just going to take time regardless of anything that you do.
What do we, I know that the European Tour or the European Championship has its own type of legacy, but we know that we see them do something similar to like the Riders Cup, for example.
Right.
And then that is always hugely successful. You're generally having the biggest names out there and playing that. And then you have, like the actual Riders Cup and stuff like that in actual golf. A lot of times you'll have, drafts, if you will, or selections. You build these teams and you create the hype around the event. What if we were to do something a little more like that? Instead of playing and earning your way in, you earned your way into a captain position, and then you actually, as a captain, had to convince your something so on and forth, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
You build these teams and you create the hype around these teams enough that players want to play and fans want to watch.
So
Because as of right
basically,
now, if
okay,
if we're if we're looking at it this way, as a fan, given this weird format that we're already having this year, the amount of players that are dropping out, a casual fan, I'm gonna watch. We're gonna watch. We
absolutely.
eat,
Because we
sleep,
love watching
breathe
anybody
disc
in the
golf.
top 30. You know what I mean? Like
But
that's just the way it is. We love
but
watching disc golf.
but I have to say is that even it's almost, and I don't want to say that this is 100% accurate, but this is just an example of a better way to look at it is it almost feels like there's a small part of me that thinks I have to watch match play because it's part of my job in relation to this podcast right now. More so than I'm so excited to watch match play.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's 100% true, but there is a little part of me that kind of feels that way.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
feels like I have to watch it because I'm obligated to watch disc golf because I enjoy it enough to do a podcast about it.
right. See, I enjoy the match play more than I would the All Star event. Truly, um, it is going to be a little bit different though, just without having some of um, the highlight players, I guess, out there. But that just opens the door, and we'll see who takes the chance and takes that chance and does something with it. Um,
Right.
what I would love to see is some underdogs really perform. This is where match play comes in. Those aggressive underdogs that are always fighting. I
Yeah.
that's this is the kind of tournament that they can thrive at. And I also think that that's part of why some of the higher tier names are dropping out because what if Ricky goes out and he loses to the 16th seed in the first round like he did last year? Um,
Right. And it's not even that. I mean, this year it's Ricky has to go out there and he would be, up there around the number 1 seed in theory.
yep,
And he not only has to beat one competitor, the way the first round is formatted this year, he has to beat 3 people.
yep,
He has to match play 3 different people all the way through that course. That's rough.
yeah. But That's where the true talent shines. What's up,
What's
Ben?
up? All right,
But
let's
yeah,
see here.
I don't know. I'm excited to watch it. We'll be able to recap it a little bit more next week and kind of see what's going on.
Yeah,
We'll
it,
have it
it's
for you.
it's interesting. The only thing that I know for sure is one of the things we had talked about before the show was with match play. One of the things that could incentivize players to be there more is the purse
Yeah.
and increasing the purse, increasing the money. But the point that I had made in relation to that is that the names that you see dropping off these are the people who aren't. They're not there for the money at this point. They're there for the clout.
Yeah.
So how do you increase the clout of
And
this
that's
event?
that's the reason I came out with the branded content.
Yeah, because it's all good and fine to say, oh well, instead of winning $10,000 for this match play event, he's going to win $20,000. That's great. Ricky's just signed a massive contract that he doesn't need that 20 grand anymore. That 20 grand, maybe it would be great if he was 100% healthy. He's probably playing, and maybe he would even donate that 20 grand to
To
his
his
foundation
foundation.
now, right? That's awesome, but
Right.
that's not going to be the incentive that you see people looking for.
Yep.
That's at that when you're talking about a match play event that singles out the 16 best players on tour today, and you have multiples of them not even playing.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Johnny said, it's an opportunity for lower ranked players to rise up, get some TV time, and get their name out there. So hopefully
Yeah,
that's what we see. Hopefully we see some great disc golf. But yeah, I mean
that's the one beautiful thing about this is, I joke around it that there's a small part of me that's like, I have to watch it because it's part of my job. But the truth of the matter is, I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna be excited to turn it on as soon as I see the notification that says match play coming up. I'm gonna be like, yeah, you know what I mean. It's gonna be something exciting for me to watch.
yeah,
Um, and when push comes to shove, I just
yeah. You need to go get you some rest.
yeah, I need so much sleep right now. It's not even funny. Ben Garcia out here calling Ricky out. Woo-hoo. But
Yeah,
Ricky strikes me as a money hungry kind of guy. Honestly, I don't know that I agree with that.
I
Every
completely
every
agree with it.
I think that he likes money as much as the next guy. But if you told him that he could win the next worlds if he gave up all the money he had for the rest of the year, I think he'd take it.
Maybe,
I think he would
but
take it.
what are the reason you win worlds?
Well, what are the reason you get paid as much as Ricky? First of all,
Right. I mean,
to be fair,
because you're good, but
yeah.
um, I it, the reason that you consistently get better, the reason people strive to get better, is for the incentive based. I mean, that's people play for money in the pro level, and it's they could always go get more. He'd lose a little sleep over. You're right. You're right. He would. He would.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
If he, but I think, and that's you're not wrong. I'm just saying when push came to shove, if you told Ricky that I will give you a 100% chance of winning worlds this year if you gave up your paycheck for the rest of the season, he would take it.
But it's because like, okay, let's add that three time onto my name. Now I can get a bigger contract at the end. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
We're
I
not
don't know.
saying that's the way he is, but I could see it. I mean, it
I'm not saying he's not. I'm not
you
saying he
haven't
is.
seen
I
his
just
stuff that he sells.
me
Yeah, have you?
like what in
On
in
on
in
like
what
dollar
way?
disc golf auctions.
Oh no, but I don't
He
partake.
asks. He even asks for shipping. He got roasted in the comments. He finally took shipping off. He was
Oh well,
selling his old jerseys and stuff like that on dollar disc golf auctions and charging shipping for it.
let's see.
Yeah. I seen that he was playing at the World Series of Poker though. I did see that. He's like, guess
Yeah,
where
I don't
I
know.
am? Like 1,000 people playing poker. Like one way to lose all your money. Congratulations.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, the one thing that you know for sure is that if somebody is going into a career as a professional disc golfer, they are either a phenom or they are not in it for the money, and you know,
Yeah,
especially not in the beginning, because you either have to be Gannon Burr good at 16, or you are accepting that you are going to be a broke man for a long time and hope that you get good enough to not be anymore.
yeah.
To be fair, to Ricky's credit,
Now's
he's
the time to hustle.
he, he's in his prime now, and now's the time to hustle. You are not wrong.
Yep.
You're not wrong. The shipping thing, it's a bit much, but outside of that, yeah, he knows where he is. He
Yeah.
knows he might be dumb, but he ain't stupid,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting some money. We ain't calling him out for that. It's just, he might be that type of guy. That's fine. But I believe that about wraps us up for tonight. We were going to try to keep it around an hour, and we're almost at an hour and a half. I don't know how we always do this, but
Because we ramble
it is, yeah, we do ramble. We are ramblers. We did a 20-minute intro. But,
about nothing.
yeah, hey, my birthday was in that intro. Thanks.
Yeah, your birthday was like two
Yesterday.
minutes out of that 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're right.
So we say we did 2 minutes of important and 18 minutes of rambling about nothing important. How about that?
There we go. I like that.
The 2 minutes was actually about my no. I'm just
Yeah. Yeah. But you got
uh,
anything else to add? If not, I'm about to wrap it up.
no,
All right. That's all we needed. Johnny, I do
Daniel.
appreciate your little saying there. We stole that last week, and I'm just going to continue to steal it with your permission. Um, but this has been a very fun podcast. Hopefully next week we'll have all of the match play stats for you, and everything goes smoothly with commentary and all of the network side of things, and we just don't have anything to dramatize
No
about.
discs fall through the
Yeah, no
basket.
discs falling through. That'd be great. But
That'll
until
be a good
then, y'all
time.
get out there. Make sure you drink water. Cannot stress enough. Stay hydrated.
Hydrate or die.
Yes, literally. Don't do that. Um, but yeah, if you think you're too hot, take a break. Drink some water. Make sure you have water there with you. Um,
Wear your sunscreen. Skin cancer's no
yeah,
joke.
do everything that you need to do to take care of yourself. But
Oh,
regardless,
and wear your bug spray, man. It is tick season, my guy.
it's always tick season in Tennessee.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It
But
is.
for the rest of you who don't live in a place where it's tick season year round,
Yeah.
wear your bug spray, man. Wear your bug spray.
Wear some longer
Don't don't
socks.
don't be sassy about it. Don't say I'll be all right this time. That's what we all say every single time. Drink your water, wear your sunscreen, wear your bug spray. We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yep. And we will see y'all on the next hole. Peace.